In this video, you'll be looking at how to create and use Google Forms. As you can see, I am already logged in on our google.com Superior Wildcats, and I've already went to Drive. Now that I'm in Drive, I'm going to click on Create and go down to Form. So those of you that have used Forms in the past, it has been recently updated, so things look a little bit differently. There are a variety of ways and reasons you can use the form. We'll focus mostly on using it in the classroom. So the first thing that pops up here is telling me to choose a title and theme. So I will title this test form. And then you can just leave it plain if you want, otherwise you have a variety of options just to kind of make it a little bit more fancy. Okay, now that I have that set up, we'll start here at the top. Since we are using our Superior domain, we have a couple of different options. If you only want people who have the superiorwildcats.org to be able to log in and view this, you would want to check this box. If you are sending this outside of the school, you want to make sure that this is unchecked. You can also choose to have it automatically collect Superior Public Schools username. So this will be our email addresses. That can be useful if you're going to want to reply to the people or just an easy way to get their contact information. I'm going to say that I want people outside of our domain to be able to view this. It's just going to say, are you sure you want to do this? Yes, and we'll go ahead and have it not collect their names. So now here we're ready for our first question. I always make the first question name. If you are going to want to sort it a certain way by their last name, then their first name, you want to give them help. So I'll say last first. And then my question type. This will simply be text, and I want to make sure that they give me their name, so I'm going to check the box required. I'm done. I'm ready to add my next question. So my next question, we're going to say paragraph text. This would be for longer text. Why do you like technology? And required. If you're creating this for some type of assessment, you want to make sure that you make all questions required. This way a student is not going to be able to skip a question and not answer. So even if they don't know the answer, they're at least going to have to type in something in so you know they read through the question, maybe they just didn't know how to answer it. And then we can have our standard multiple choice. And so what is my favorite color? And then I'll type in my options. And I'm going to make it required. And if I want another multiple choice question, an easy way to do it is just to duplicate it. So I've done that. It's here now. I can easily just change it. What is my favorite holiday? And then simply go through and change our choices. Done. Then our next type of question is checkboxes. You would want to use this if you want them to be able to choose more than one answer. Once again, I am making this required, and the way that you can easily see if you made it required is we see the red asterisk by questions I have made required. And then our next question type after checkboxes, choose from a list. And once again, you're going to give them choices. Scales. This would be scaling things on a 1 to 5 basis, or kind of whatever you choose for that. So I think school lunches are, and then I'm giving it a scale of 1 to 5. 1 would be not so good, 5 would be great. Next we're going to add grid. So we're now going to add our grid. Usually with grid I won't put a question, and I will make my column labels true or false. This is just one example of how you might use it. And then my rows will be statements that I want them to answer, whether they're true or false. So, sky is blue, grass is purple, I like rainbows. The next item we're going to add is something fairly new to Google Forms. It's with the date and the time. A couple of examples maybe I thought you might be able to use it for is maybe setting up possible days and times during conferences, or if you're just trying to set up some other type of meeting, you can find out what will work for them. So, what day can you attend our IEP? And so you can see you can include the year, you can include the time, and just kind of find out what's going to work for people, what's going to work best for you. So we'll do one that just has the date. We'll add another one with time. And we'll do one that has both our date and our time. And then our final new feature is adding an image. I'm just going to choose one that I already have loaded on my computer. And so all this really allows me to do is to either title my image or give it some alternative text. But a way you might be able to use it is if right here we have, here's my image, I'm going to say done, add that. And then maybe below it I'm going to add paragraph text and say describe the picture above. And then just go ahead and save that. So now they have this image to look at and they can write me a paragraph about it. Okay, so now that we have our form completed, we have some options for once it has been filled out, what are your users going to see? So first, the generic is your response has been recorded. A lot of times I like to say thanks for your time or something else appropriate. And then you have three options. If you want to be able to allow them to submit another response, you could have that checked. Most of the time if you're giving this as a quiz for your kids, I would uncheck that. They are also able to see results. So if this is something, maybe you're just testing their knowledge and you want them to be able to see what other students are answering, you can do that. They won't know who answered what. And allow responders to edit responses after submitting. So maybe they submitted their form and they think, oh, whoops, I made a mistake. So if you want them to be able to go back and make changes, you could do that. And then if you plan to send this out to maybe some people, you would say send form and enter their email addresses and say send. A lot of times if I'm just going to have my students take it, I'll get this link here, copy it, and use a URL shortener to be able to give that to my students. Another new option is deciding where do your responses go. Before they automatically went to a spreadsheet, now this is not so. So we want to say choose response destination. And we can see, okay, yep, it is going to give it a new spreadsheet. If you want it to always do this, you can say always create a new spreadsheet. If at this time you don't want a spreadsheet created, you can always say just keep responses in the form. But the easiest way to be able to view your responses is to have it in a spreadsheet. So we'll go ahead and say create that. And then if we want to see what our form will look like to our users, say view live form. And now you can see here is what your form or quiz would look like to whoever you're sending it to. So here we can see choose from a list. You'd have to choose an answer. Here's our grid. So the sky is blue, true or false. And they have those options. Then here is when they can pick just a date. So we can attend the IEP April 15th. And maybe we should have gave them a little help, say, our IEP for, Susie Q, or our IEPs we have in April. and best time to reach you, so they can just type something in. Maybe it's during my planning time, which is 9 o'clock a.m. Or you can pick both, a month and day with a time that works best for you. Here we see that picture I added, the question below, describe the picture above, we'd say submit. And at this time you can see I didn't answer all the required questions, so it's going through making a red box saying please answer those. So that is the basics of creating a form.